Hi, this is David with the Discount Dragon again, and I've got some ideas about reinforcing polymer clay sculptures, and I would like to share them today. This is going to be idea number one, and I'm focusing on things that I don't think other people are doing yet exactly, and that are relatively easy and inexpensive to do. So, this is one of the products that I was thinking about using for reinforcing polymer clay sculptures. And what this is this is a kind of wire scrubby donut thing. You see a lot of these in copper finish, but this one is a stainless steel one, which I thought would be less reactive chemically, so less likely to discolor and tarnish and cause problems in the long run. So what I did was I cut some pieces out of this. I cut out the center, which was kind of all tied together, and then I unpeeled it and ended up with this. I put some clay on the ends to hold on to. It's kind of like a chain link fence. And there are advantages to something like this. It's obviously highly flexible. But I was thinking you could take it, and if you wanted to go over a curved surface, here. If you wanted to make something over top of a curved surface and have a ready-made reinforcing strategy, you could do something like this. Okay, I'll set this over here. Okay. Take this, it's kind of springy, and you can just lay it across like that, kind of press it down, and you've essentially got a metal spring layer of spring material across the curved surface. You don't have to go back and forth with a million wires. I'll just stick the chemo in there a little bit. That might hold. So you've got this kind of wire mesh material that's springy, curved across the surface, gives you pretty good coverage. Now, this stuff, due to its chain link fence sort of construction, put me in mind of reinforcing concrete. There is a method for reinforcing concrete where you take chain link fence and you stretch it out and put it under high tension. And then you pour the concrete over top of it. It gets in between the chain link, and you end up with very well reinforced high tensile strength concrete. I don't know whether something like that might work in this case or not. So I would also like to kind of put forward the thought that you could put this stuff under tension with springs or weights when you're doing the baking. That way you would end up with something that's kind of pre-stressed, which I don't know if that would be that applicable to polymer clay or not, but it's just a thought. This here is a piece that I have already baked with the wire mesh inside of it. I have not tested it for strength or anything, but it's kind of thick because I had to make sure I got a good coverage on both sides. You can see the bits of wire mesh sticking out like that. But you've got a curved piece that I had on here that is, if you're going to make like a hollow version of this, you could cover this pretty easily between the wire mesh and your polymer clay. So that is the concept. Take a woven metal mesh scrubber and cut it apart and use the springy pieces as reinforcing for your larger polymer clay sculpture. So let me just pull this apart a little more. As you can see, you get a lot of material here, and you could cover quite a bit, and it costs very little for these things. Now there is already a metal reinforcing mesh, but it's a little on the high side and it doesn't have the same characteristics. So this is just filling a different niche. It's not replacing other reinforcing methods entirely. But if you want something kind of in between the freeform abilities of just random bits of wire, which I use for a lot of reinforcing, and something like the metal mesh, which I'll get a pack of that and kind of show you what that is. This is the kind of commercial metal mesh made out of aluminum that is out there for reinforcing sculptures. It doesn't have the springy characteristics, so it's a different sort of dynamic, and this is about $6, so I mean, it's not that expensive, but it's not that cheap. Alright, so that is the concept, and I encourage you guys to get out there and play around with it and tell me how it goes. I would like to point out that I cut this stuff apart with these old crummy shears because I didn't want to mess up good scissors. And if you're handling this, you are going to end up with small metal fragments, many of which are quite sharp. So definitely, put down some newspaper and be sure not to cut yourself up. Okay. And that's about it. Have fun, and I hope that this benefits somebody out there.